I'm Francis Hopkinson. I am the creative director of Tall Story Pictures, which is part of ITV Studios. There are a number of different drama labels. You know, there's Mammoth Pictures and there's Big Talk. We're wholly owned by studios, and so we're closely allied to them. We're part of the studios. We've just got a label to help us differentiate from the other ITV studios. It is very busy at the moment. It's busy production-wise. The interesting thing is I don't think there's still not as much drama being shown as there was in 2008. So we're still sort of catching up on that. But there's great demand for writers, so we're trying to find new talent or trying to source different sorts of talent, and that's the source of everything we do. So it's hard at the moment, I think, to find those voices.
What are you? Two men in one body? Should have kept out, monster. Cave carnum, beware of the dog.
There are certain writers who are effectively becoming showrunners. Sometimes they're writing the whole of the show, like Julian Fellows with Downton Abbey, or like Jed Mercurio, who does Line of Duty. Other times there are writers who are very good at just working with a small group of writers who they know. I think it's changing this country to a different sort of model. I think dramas that are emerging from more of the showrunner model, there's a greater consistency to them. I think they're probably more efficient. I don't think there's any sort of homogenous nature to them. I think they're still very good.
The heat relaxes the fibres or some such. But I mean, going quite crazy, sitting in hotel rooms all day, so I thought I'd try my hand at archaeology.
I think the interesting thing is that we'll have different sorts of shows. There'll be some shows that are expensive. You know, clearly if you're doing something like The Crown, you're going to need a lot of money to recreate that life and the period feel of that. But you know, there'll be still shows that are quite a smaller budget, like Line of Duty, that are effective. It's not really, money doesn't bring audiences to the table. Great stories bring audiences to a table. I don't think any audience goes, oh, they spent £2 million on that, I need to watch it. They watch it because of great stories.
I don't think I can keep going into the station. All the stuff that's going on behind our backs, all the stuff that's going on to our faces.
Oh, well, Rob was a good bloke, wasn't he? You know, people can't get their heads around it.
There's still a desire to do long-running crime serials like Happy Valley or Broadchurch. I think there's an interest now in doing Story of the Week again, a self-contained story, perhaps an overarching story across a series, but still a self-contained story. I think there's an international demand for that, but also I think there's possibly, you know, the audiences might be getting a little tired of the long-running serials, and so to give them something else. I think there's definitely a desire for a lighter tone. I think we've gone very dark, and so I think there is a desire for a lighter tone, perhaps more comedy drama. I think Cold Feet showed that there's still a hunger for things that are different. So it's a more tonal shifts than specific, I think.
So, you had a fall.
I fell. Old people have falls.
Off a travelator.
I was distracted, all right?
I don't think there's any part of the audience that is not being served because there's so much drama. I think drama now has many different forms. It goes from high budget to slightly lower budget. You have sort of standard procedurals, and you have shows like Last Tango and Halifax that are different from anything we've seen before, you know, have a sort of older cast, but you know, appreciated across the board. So I think it's a good time for variety, so I don't think anyone's not being served.
I've got a pen pal, this fella I was at school with.
I did ask her out once.
Did you? Dad.
I've been in love with him for 60 years.
Obviously we're very closely allied, well, totally allied to ITV-GE. And so they're aware of all the things we're doing, and they're sort of aware of the stuff that we'll need a deficit on, and they're aware of the stuff that we might just need a little bit of help on. So those discussions are ongoing. You know, literally I have talked to someone from GE every week about our slate. They identify the ones that they know we're going to need a lot of money from. They're on them earlier. So the conversations are ongoing. It's all done in tandem now.
These last 5 years, you have shared my vision, and we've worked together to make Selfridges into a truly great house of business.
I think there's a lot of players out there who all want different sorts of rights. And I think that's what we look to our distributors to help us muddle through. I've got to kind of ignore that and just concentrate on making a really great show for whoever is paying the primary fee. And I don't sense from Netflix or Amazon that there's a huge desire to interfere. I think that you know, certainly if they're the second person in, you know, they want what the BBC or ITV want, and so. But I haven't worked directly with them, so I couldn't tell you. But I don't sense that there's a sort of that there's an interventionist mode.
I know that I'm young, and some would say my sex puts me at a disadvantage. But I know my duty, and I assure you, I am ready for the great responsibility that lies before me.
Everyone is very aware of the Euro pudding problem, which is that everyone wants a little bit of something and you end up with a mishmash. And certainly everything I've done and any sort of co-production I do, I always try to make sure that there is one central editorial voice that, you know, I think there are always conversations to be had, but one central editorial voice that overrides that. I think otherwise you will be making shows that please no one. And I think it's really important that there is just one voice guiding you through.
Do I have half-wit branded across my forehead?
No.
Yet I fell for it again. Built a castle out of winks and smiles.
For me, the tax credit has meant that there's much less compromising, particularly if we're doing a period drama. I think it's meant that it just gives you that little bit extra that I don't have to compromise quite so much. It has meant that fees have gone up. Certainly, the moment it came in, everyone started demanding higher fees, but I think that's sort of calmed down now. It's more about the competition, the amount of competition for the crews and I think that's as much to do with the weak pound as anything else. So the tax break, I think, has now been absorbed. I think it's probably been about 5 years, if not more, since the tax break came in. No, it must be 7 years since the tax break came in. So we've assimilated it now.
He died 2 years ago. Some sort of con artist, and possibly found this on his bedside table.
98018, what's that, telephone number?
It's unobtainable if it is, I've tried it.
I think the drama landscape at the moment is very busy. I think it is very full. I think there's got to be a reckoning between the amount of shows we can make that succeed and the amount of failure we're prepared to tolerate. I think there is a ongoing problem with how much the international distributors are prepared to deficit fund things. So I think there's a few adjustments to be made. I think there's a certain feverish quality to the golden age of drama, and I think that's settling down. I don't sense there's any lack of hunger for drama, and I think that certainly drama is what people want from on demand, and drama is what people want from their premium channels. And so I think that there's still great opportunities, but I think there's probably a little bit of a slowing down as people people are more cautious about what they ask for. They want to be more sure that they're going to get something that will be long lasting.
Am I too much? Cheers, cheers. Sam helped.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my greatest achievement.
He looks so hot.
I think there is more caution over what's going to be financed. I think there's more caution over the bigger bets that people are taking. It doesn't, you know, we still have to do the same thing, but I think there's just a little more thought that has to go into it.